The idea of death really used to scare me. This idea that it was an end of a person as we know them, and kind of, especially when it comes to loved ones, family, people in your life, it seems like a very terrifying thought to have, to never be able to communicate with that person in the way that we do now, to see them. I think more recently, I've been trying to see how life and death are the same, even like death and birth. It's become more circular, and I think it comes down to what I'm learning about what the Druze believe, and the idea of reincarnation. But this idea that life and death are essentially the same thing, there's no separation, is more of a comforting thought to me now. I had a friend whose grandfather passed away, and one thing she said to me when I was kind of passing on my condolences, and being there with her in her mourning, she said that I know he's a baby somewhere, he's a little baby out there, but it still really hurts to have lost him. And I thought that was so beautiful, even in a time of intense grief and mourning for her grandfather, she was able to see him as the new life, the new rebirth somewhere else. And that really tied the two ideas to me, the fact that it's death on one side, but it's a almost celebration of life on the other side, where this soul has been reincarnated into a new body to start a new life, so to speak, somewhere else. I think that brings a lot more comfort now than it used to. I actually struggle with kind of helping people outside of our faith when it comes to loss, because you don't really have the same language around. You can't really talk as much about reincarnation. You can't really offer anything more than just being there. And I know sometimes that's enough, but I really noticed it when I had a coworker whose mother passed away, and I couldn't say all the usual things that hold us strong, make us feel better, when we have a loss in our lives amongst our community. So I definitely think there have been times where I've been questioning even the idea of reincarnation. I think it is a cornerstone of our faith, that it our faith kind of doesn't make sense unless reincarnation it happens. But there were times where I would question it, just because it felt like it when you're newer and you're learning about Tawheed, a lot of things are just kind of said to you, and you really need to suspend your own disbelief in order to grapple with that idea. But I think hearing some stories of people who remember their past lives was very interesting, because a lot of them really pointed to the fact that there is no way this person could know these details. We had I guess, a cousin or a second cousin kind of talk about very specific details from his previous life, and how the mother he currently had was not his only mother. And then when they took him back, he could find, for example, a bicycle in the shed. And I've read up a lot about kind of reincarnation narratives in the Druze faith, and a lot of them have to do with some kind of traumatic experience, and they have this traumatic experience and pass away. And so that had kind of been a question for me for a while, that why do people remember their past lives if we're not supposed to think about it as much and kind of focus on the present and the now, because surely these people remember for a reason. And I think for me that reason has become to kind of, as a sort of evidence that reincarnation does exist, and maybe there was some kind of lesson that this specific person is carrying on to their current life that they need to work on.